Vibe Show 97.9. Happy Friday to everybody. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Hope everybody's safe out there. Man, it's been one hell of a week, I tell you, man. But you know what, though? Blessed and highly favored, we all are here. I got a special guest joining me tonight. This guy here, I must admit, is restoring the feeling, man. I've been jamming this guy's music, man, for the last couple of days, and I'm telling you, man, it's really been uplifting and really been restoring that feeling that I've been missing for so long. I'm talking about R&B soul singing sensation, the one, the only, Deshaun Wlison.
Yo,
What's up, my brother?
yo, what's going on,
What's
brother?
happening,
How
man?
you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, man. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you too. Thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely, man. You know, we've been looking forward to having you on here. And like I said, we all been vibing out to the music. We've been rather excited about the music that was delivered to us personally. And we
Right?
really want to thank you for this amazing opportunity too to hang out with us for a little while.
Nah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. This has been my dream. I've been wanting to do stuff like this, and I
You
appreciate you
doing it?
inviting me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we're gonna be bringing you back because you got a lot of stuff going on too. So this is the first of many interviews you coming on the Vibe Show, man. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
now you're coming from Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, that's Star, Brooklyn, Marcy
Yes,
Projects.
yes.
Mhm.
Marcy, man, that's some rich soil right there. Rich soil, you know.
Yeah,
We all well, I'm gonna say me. I was introduced to Marcy, of course, through the Jay-Z brand, or whatever.
right, right.
Let's start right there. I thought that was really interesting that you come from that area out there in New York. Like I said, you got Jay-Z, of course. I think Memphis Bleak coming from
Yes,
that
yes.
area as well. Can we
Hmm.
can we talk about the history of how that may have impacted that part of New York for you guys? And I would like to get into your inspirations as well. But I would like to talk about coming up in Marcy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was born and raised there. Two-parent household, and you know, um, I've been, I'm still living in now, but yeah, I'm still living in Bed-Stuy, but I'm not in Marcy, but
Right.
yeah, it kind of, I was taught how to be a man there. I was brought up there, and went through the typical trials and tribulations of any urban, kid coming out of the hood, and
Right.
my music and all the inspiration comes from that. Just coming from that area. I'm able to speak about things that maybe a lot of people outside of my area, or who don't have a clear understanding of what we go through, living coming out of the hood,
Right.
all over the world. I sort of I'm able to give an insight into that through my music.
Right. And it's funny that you say that because I can connect the dots now because I definitely can hear the stories, and you can hear that pain and those reflections of your upbringing and things that you may have went through in your
Right.
music. So that was something that I really appreciated listening to the music, because a lot of stuff that we hear now, man, connected to R&B, man, it's it's really no story, no, because I feel
Yeah.
like I think that's one thing that I miss about R&B was, it used to actually cover real situations, relationships, things that we
Right.
really could relate to, other than you know more of the sexual content,
Right.
more of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that
Hmm.
it's not, the music is not good vibes or whatever, but I miss, being able to put on something where I can actually make up with my girl, or if something happened, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Or if I want to,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
do a little love making or something like that, I got something I can put on. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right, right,
appreciate
right,
that right there. Um,
right.
so I thought that it was interesting too, though, some of your musical influences. Like I said, I hear all of this, a whole gumbo and a mixture of all of these legendary influences. Some of your influences, what we had Teddy Pendergrass, your
Yes,
Luthers,
yeah,
Marvin
yeah.
Gaye's. Was that some of the music that was being heard with you growing up with moms or pops, or just growing up around that type of music?
Right, right, right. Yeah. So I started out singing, in the church. So, my mom's and had me in the choir, right? So
Hmm.
I a lot of that um part of uplifting,
Right,
like because when we sung in the church, we was uplifting in the congregation.
right, right.
So that part of it started there. But as I got older, I started liking R&B. I started liking Marvin Gaye. I started liking Teddy P, Luther Vandross, and my mom's. She was a heavy influence on that because she was like, "Hey, son, I really don't want you to do R&B because I want you in gospel. But
Right.
but if you're gonna do it, these are some of the people I want you to kind of emulate and take
Mm,
something from, because she was like a fan of this. So she
mm,
wanted me to be able to take a little bit of what they had to offer at that time and
mm.
implement it into my style. And so that's what I did. And I studied all of those guys. Like, I took something from every last one of them. They all
Right,
inspired me, their music, their style, the way they presented themselves, and how people reacted to their music. I fell in love with that. So
right.
that's what drove me in that direction. I just loved listening to them, what's going on, and turn
Hmm.
off the lights and
Hmm.
all the Luther Vandross stuff. Like I just like here and now, and I loved all of that. And
Right.
if you listen to any of my songs, you'll listen to them and say, "Hey, Teddy influenced that," or
Yeah,
"Luther
absolutely.
influenced that," or "Mark
Absolutely.
had some influence on that." And it's easy
Hmm.
to be with me.
Yeah, and that's what I said. The transparency is what I enjoy about your music, and hearing the story now, helps me connect the dots, because when you hear something, you can hear these influences in it, and now with
Right,
you, expressing that those were some of your heavy influences, and you emulated a lot of the great things that they brought to the world. I thought that
right.
that's super super dope, man, right there. But I think it's interesting too, though, with having the church background too. Did you get any flack from, because you know how the churchgoers are, man. You know they
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and
yeah.
what you singing in the choir and stuff like that, and then crossing over to
Mhm.
taking another route with it. Did you receive any flack from any of your church members?
I mean, only like it wasn't like hate type of thing. It was
Right.
more like funny jabs. Like so a lot of them, they was just like, yo, you shouldn't be doing that. But
Right.
I'm listening to you because I love you and I'm supporting you and I like that song. So
Right.
it wasn't like it wasn't one of them things where they was like disappointed in me. They
Mm.
was just like, yo, I know you. Like I know you started out in the choir, but now you doing this. So it's more like ribbon, funny ribbon.
Right. Right. Does that make you how does that make you feel, like, probably towards the beginning of your career of coming on the other side? Did you have any feelings like, ah, man, like I love what I'm doing, but at the same time, I'm coming from singing for the Lord, and all of this, and then I'm coming on this other side. I got a passion for this other side. Did you feel like you kind of had one foot on one side and one foot on the other side?
Nah. Because once I fully committed to R&B, I never was back and forth. Like once
Mhm.
I had decided, like yo, I was going into R&B. This is what I wanted to do. I
Right.
just I just stuck to it. I never wanted to disrespect, you know, God's music and all of that by dibble dabbling. I
Mhm.
was over here. I was doing this now, so that's what I was going to do.
Right.
I was fully comfortable in my own, in my own skin doing it. I never felt like I was doing anything wrong or hey,
Mhm.
how people gonna feel because I never was misleading them. Once I
Right.
got into R&B, I was in it.
Right. Would you say that attributed to possibly saving your life? Because Marcy is it's a rough area, and would you say that you know it that attributed to with being in the choir and being involved in the church and stuff like that? Would you say that kind of kept you out of a lot of things or whatever, or which could have possibly went a whole nother way with your life?
Yeah. Nah, it kept me focused. It kept me like having a goal. Like yo, I
Hmm.
knew like I wanted to make great music. Like
Hmm.
that was part of my inspiration too. Like I wanted to make great music. I wanted to inspire with my voice and with my songs. So that kept my eye on the prize, Like
Right.
it gave me something. It was like a carrot that was dingling in front of me. And
Hmm.
so I knew like I had something that was going to keep me grounded. It wasn't going to allow me to do anything like crazy.
Hmm.
And that's how I was, But the thing about it coming out of Marcy, like it's a lot of things that go on there, but it's a lot of good that came out of there too. It wasn't just like it just wasn't about what y'all hear on the news and all that. Like I met great people there that helped inspire me to be great.
Hmm.
I got friends to this day like that I know from there. So it wasn't all like I was worried about my well being or anything like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's some good
Absolutely.
that's from there, and it's good people that's from there too. And they was working hard. I went to school with kids that had parents from that neighborhood that worked hard just like my parents. So it wasn't all like worrisome.
Absolutely. That's how the picture gets painted. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's why I think that it's good having with you being able to tell your story, because you can actually, bring some clarity to a lot of the stories that the news or the media may be putting out there about a lot of areas. I feel like in a lot of areas or whatever that may be tough areas that we all come from or whatever, it is good people there. It's good people there, good families there, good hardworking people there,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, sir. Like, yo, we like it's things that we go through. I'm sure you could speak to this too. Like, yo, it's some things that we go through that other people just won't never understand. But
Absolutely.
but we like to me, I look at it as a strength. Like being from there made me stronger. It
Hmm.
made me better. It challenged me and it motivated me to say, hey, you know, you want more for yourself, so you gotta do more. And if I didn't
Absolutely.
come from there, I wouldn't have that desire.
Right. At what point would you say that you actually decided to take music seriously and make a career out of it? Because we all have these dreams that we want, whether it's via music or anything outside of the norm, going to a regular 9 to 5 or whatever. But at what point would you say that you decided to actually make a career out of this music dream and your talents?
Well, like I started taking it seriously like around 15 or 16,
Mhm.
and I was just like, I knew at that point I started to get good at it.
Mhm.
I started to like really harness in on my skills.
Mhm.
And then, with certain people that I met in my life that sort of like believed in me. So it was like, I kind of needed that. I needed that, and it helped molded me and made me better. You know.
Right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we also know too, when it comes down to the music business, you know, it's just that, you know, it's just that it is a music business. As far as, learning the business side of it, because having skills and having talent is one thing, but really understanding, how the music business works. Um, let's talk about that a little bit. The importance of understanding the music business and copyrights and your publishing, and making sure that your music is registered properly, because I like to educate inspiring artists that's trying to follow your path as well. So can we talk about the importance of that element of it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely can. We definitely can. We definitely can. And it's very important. Like, it's sort of, knowing about and that's one thing. Like, I gotta say, like, I've grown a lot. Like, I've been doing this for a little while, and it's like certain things I didn't know in the beginning of this. Like, I
Hmm.
didn't know about publishing. I didn't know what I was entitled to.
Right.
And the more over time I was able to, educate myself and knowing, hey, you know what? I write my own music, or, this is what I'm entitled to. I own this. So you had, registering with BMI, taking the proper steps to make sure, like, yo, you taking care of, your entity,
Hmm.
and protecting yourself. Because so
Right.
many people I know from even back in the days, and you know, weren't compensated right.
Absolutely.
And they worked hard. Like, yo, they worked hard with their music, and you don't want to fall, you don't want to be, falling short on that. And that's one of the things I love about being an independent artist, just being able to control my own destiny. I love
Right.
that part.
Right. Right. And you know because at one point, R&B, we seen a decline in R&B, and we seen that combination of hip hop being mixed with it a little bit, and kind of phased out, a lot of R&B artists, a lot of the great ones that we all loved, kind of, had a difficult time kind of making the transition of when, the music started to change a little bit or whatever. I
Right,
feel like we kind of heading back towards that space of restoring the feeling, and it's coming back, you know what I mean? But
right.
during that time, like, I would like to get your take on, because I'm pretty sure that, like I said, you're a student of the music game, and I know that you've seen that fall, that decline as well, in R&B. What does that mean to you, with restoring the feeling?
It mean a whole lot. I can't tell you how many people I run into, whether it's out on the street or wherever, that tell me when they listen to my music, I put them back into that field
Mm,
of, like how we talked about earlier. I think I'm one of the few artists now that allows himself to be vulnerable.
mm,
I don't think artists, of today allow themselves to be vulnerable no more.
right.
That used to be something that I took from other artists as I was coming up. I was able to, grasp that energy or that feeling from them. And when you listen to my Voice of the Streets album, I don't just talk about stuff I've been through personally. I talk
Right.
from the standpoint of a man. I talk from the standpoint of a person that come from, the projects, and some of the way some you know the way people feel from there. If you
Right.
listen to some of my records that's on there, I'm just expressing how they feel. A lot of people can't get in the studio and do what I do, but nobody's really hearing them.
Right.
My music does that. And I think that's part of the vulnerable. We're vulnerable, and I think my music represents that. And I think that's what's missing in R&B. I don't think I don't think artists of today allow themselves to do that.
It's funny that you say that. Why do you think that that's so though? Why do you think from your if you could express your feeling on it? Why do you think that that's so?
Well, I mean, like I said, like independency. Like I like the fact that I'm an independent artist. Like I don't think a lot of these artists, because of the monetary part of it,
Hmm.
like I make music for the standpoint of like I make it for a reason. I have a purpose behind it. Like
Hmm.
I want my music to express something to to people out there that hear it. I'm not necessarily, thinking about the monetary part of it. Like if my music does this, does that. No, I just want to make good music. And I
Hmm.
think that's where it all changes for me. I know everybody, wants that have that big dream of being a millionaire and doing all of that stuff off their music. But I never looked at it like that. I literally enjoy making music without
Right.
even having to ever see a penny from it. So I
Right.
think the fact that I have that kind of inspiration inside my heart allows me to do whatever music I feel in my heart without
Mhm.
having to worry about, hey, yo, do I think this person will like it? Or do I think the youth of today will like it? Or
Mhm.
this generation will like it? I just make music from my heart.
Now, now, Sean, I definitely feel you on that. You know what I mean? But a couple bags, won't hurt either. You know what I'm
No, no,
saying?
no, no. Like I said, no,
I don't want my listeners to get it twisted. Now, this man, this man is very gifted and very talented, and he you know what I mean? He want to get his just due too. His
yeah,
passion and
yeah.
his love is there. You know what I mean? But
But but the reason why I say it like that, sir, I'm gonna tell you
mhm.
why I say it like that because I really believe in my heart that I bring the passion back to R&B, and I do think people are they're
I
gonna acknowledge that. That's just
appreciate it.
my belief. So, if somebody asks me, "Hey, do you want to be a millionaire from this, or do you
Hmm.
want to be remembered?" I'm gonna
Hmm.
say I want to be remembered because
Absolutely.
I think all of that comes with it.
Facts. Now, see, now the way you just broke that down is for those inspiring um, writers and creators that they can connect with that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
all of that does come along with the game. It
right, right,
does.
right, right.
So you
Yeah,
would say that so you plugging into the majors is not something that's a part of the plan, or you would consider that, or you're just totally comfortable with the independent route.
I mean, I'm comfortable with the independent route, but I mean, if God opens up an opportunity for me, of course I'll look into it. I'll be a fool not to.
Mm.
All I'm trying to do is just get my music to the masses, and I just want them to hear what I'm bringing to the table. Because, like you said, R&B, is I'm trying to restore it. So with this album that I did, like I said, I'm totally comfortable with putting it out on all platforms and just having people just feel it. You know,
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and say, yo, I got a budget like this artist or that artist, but with I got something that a lot of artists don't have. I got strength, and I got,
Mhm.
I got that hard working attitude that I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing, and I'm not gonna quit, and I'm gonna continue to bring it. So if an
Absolutely.
opportunity arises that allows me to expand upon that,
Yeah.
then I will look into that. I would never just turn my back on that.
Absolutely. And the music is definitely, I can see something that you're very, very passionate about. And like I said, can definitely hear that within the music that you have created. I would like
Yeah.
to talk about your creative process though. What's a Deshaun Wilson studio session like? What's your a creative session like? You know, are you one of the type of artists who hears the beat and write to it, or are you one of the type of artists who writes and then go and select beats? What's your creative process?
I mean, well, I work with I got like a producer extraordinaire. His name is, Mr. Shah, and I've worked with him on this particular project, Voice of the Streets. And what we did was for this particular project, because every situation is different, but if we're talking about that project, what we
Mhm.
did was we had something in mind. Like, I told him, I wanted to speak, basically about things that people could relate to. And, being from Brooklyn and whatnot, we just collabed together. He would bring me the tracks, and, we would just vibe together. I would write, or, he would bring me an idea, and then we would just work on it together to how we would come up with a masterpiece. And that's how I did it. It was a collab effort. I'm not gonna, like, this project. I wanted to challenge myself on that.
Mhm.
And he working with him, he knew me so well. And we was able to, just work together side by side. And I wasn't, well, I'm not a demanding kind of artist. I'm more of a person that, we sit down and put together vibes and ideas, and, come to put together a song.
Right. Yeah. You know, I was asked that because, you know, some people have some. I've heard some crazy stories, man, of people and their creative processes. You know, they gotta have, 20 pounds of, you know what I'm saying, of grass. So they got to, they got to
Yeah,
have women surrounding by them in order for them to be able to catch a vibe or whatever.
right, right, right.
That's why I was
Nah,
asking that too.
it was just me in the studio, me, him in the studio. We just, like, that's how we did it. Like, we
Right.
just, we just we locked in. I don't need any of that stuff. Like, I just, he presented me a track, and we would vibe to it, and we was able to lay down a song just like that. I know a lot of people may find that hard to believe, but it really went like that.
Right.
We would take us a day just to, knock out a couple of songs. Like, that's how we did it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we honestly, bro, I don't want to sound, conceited or anything like that. Man, me and him is like the Dre and Snoop or R&B. Like, that's how we did it.
Hey,
If anybody know about Dre and Snoop, they know that connection, that chemistry was crazy, and that's how that chemistry was between me and him.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and so let's talk about titles. Because it's interesting. Voice of the Streets. Um, very profound title. Let's talk about that title and why you chose to go with that title.
Yeah, I mean, I chose that title because, I wanted to speak for any and anybody that was from, where I'm from. Not just in Brooklyn and New York, but the streets all over. Like, the tracks on this record could relate to anybody in any state that come from the urban area, from the hood area. They all could understand that. And it wasn't just men; it was women. Everybody. Like, anybody, everybody could vibe to that. So if you
Right.
listen to the record, or out from New York to New Orleans to LA, it didn't matter. Like, there's the streets is everywhere. So
Right.
that's why I said that I represent them. I represent them. I'm for them. I'm everything how they feel. I'm that mouthpiece for them.
Right. Musical. Musical influences. We talked about some of the legendary influences that inspired you um, to become the artist that you are today. But I would
Right.
like to talk about some of the today's artists that you may want to collaborate with or work with in the future, or some artists that may inspire you today?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm a big fan of, like, Joe. Joe is sort of like that R&B sound. Like, I could see myself working with him, or at least being, you know, doing a song with him, or being on doing a show with him, or anything like that. Like, I love Joe. He sort of still got that R&B flavor that everybody been craving for. And I like, Mario, and Marvin. A lot of these dudes is really good. I don't take nothing away from none of them, but those are like two. Neo sort of got that kind of feel. And it's a couple of these brothers out here that I love, and some of the females too that do R&B, that they really bringing it too. But those three, like, right off the bat, like Neo, Joe, and Mario, like, I kind of, music soul child. I kind of respect those.
Right.
Hmm.
How have since COVID happened, it really has impacted the entertainment business in the world in a way that I don't think any of us would have ever imagined. Um,
Right.
how has it affected you, and on a personal level, and as a artist who has a brand that you are in the process of building? How have that affected you, and what has been some of the ways that you have been working to sustain your brand throughout this pandemic?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of things, it has changed for everybody, not even just artists, just everybody in the world. So of course, it's going to affect me as an artist. Not being able to really touch the people like I would normally be able to. Doing shows, or right now it's just like everything is on hold. So, but during this time, though, it's allowed me to be creative, and showing a lot more, doing a lot of more social media, and using other outlets like this, like, platform, to just be able to talk to the people, and whoever's listening to me and supporting me. Just it's allowed me to be able to do that.
Right, right,
And so, I'll say this: with the pandemic, it's put all of us, at least most of us, on equal footing. So it's like, I don't see nobody with a real advantage, but it's just making you have to grind harder and work hard, which I don't mind doing.
right. Absolutely. How has it affected you mentally, though? Because you are and a writer, and you are coming from the R&B side of it. um and you are somebody who write about real life experiences, um and things of that nature. How has that impacted you know your writing? Are you feeling a certain type of way, or being inspired, pulling inspiration, even from this situation that the world is going through? Or have you found inspiration within that?
Oh yeah, like, we, during this pandemic, besides the fact that a lot of people are suffering, and going through a lot of things, whether it's out of work or health wise. A lot of people a lot of people are going through a lot of different things. But even from, like, social issues, like, a lot of that went on, like, during this time. And one of the songs that I had put out during that time was called Higher. I did a record called Higher. And it was you know seeing what was going on in the world forced me to make that record.
Mm.
Something I wanted to do. And it was just like, I went out there and marched. I was one of the people that was out there. I put my health on the line and all that, Why did I do it? Because it was an important issue to my heart. And so, being out there and seeing all of us, and it wasn't just, myself, black people. It was all kind of people fighting for fighting for the same cause. Like being like having this stuff around us happen,
Mm,
that inspired me to write conscious music.
mm,
And I like I told you, I grew up idolizing Marvin Gaye, and one of the songs I love was "What's Going On."
right,
I love "What's Going On," and "Higher" was a equivalent to that kind of song.
right,
It was that kind of record, and I wanted to inspire, particularly where I was from. I'm from Marcy Projects, like I told you, and I wanted to inspire people from there, to let them know like we could be higher. We could do anything we want. And even with my new record, Voice of the Streets, I did a song on there called Just Us.
hmm
It's basically talking about
I love
what
that
happened
song.
with Breonna Taylor, and I basically just told her story and put it in a song. But like I told you, I'm the mouthpiece for the streets because this is the way we've been feeling for a long time.
Right, right,
We've been feeling like this for a long time. Me personally, I don't think enough R&B artists, even touch on this, kind of stuff that's going on. And I just wanted to be a person that touched on it. I wanted to be heard. I wanted the voices that have been crying out for a long time, like, yo, this has been going on in our neighborhoods. Like this is what's happening. And we put together that song, Just Us. That's one of the most proudest songs I've ever did because I felt that. I felt that. That's why I was out there
right,
marching, you
right,
know, social
right.
injustice issues. I wanted,
Going through
you know,
going through that marching experience and actually um getting the physical experience with it, because a lot of people just watched watch it happen, but
yeah,
actually being out there um in the midst of it all, what was the vibe like? Because was this your first time like experiencing something like this? What was that
yeah.
feeling like? What was the vibe like out there being on the front line?
Nah, it was a lot of different emotions. You had people that was angry. You tired of seeing the same old thing happen without no repercussions. It was, it was different emotions. Like I know me personally, I felt angry, but I felt the togetherness of working side by side with somebody else, whether they, was my skin color or not, and we all fighting for the same cause. So it was a lot of different emotions that was going on. Like, just it was that pride of knowing like, yo, we got, people are finally seeing what we've been trying to tell y'all,
Mm,
you know, and it was just it was really surreal. Being out there and just like it was a lot. It was thousands upon thousands of people out there, and it was just besides my kids being born, it was one of the greatest days of my life. To be quite honest with you, being a part of that.
right, right. Definitely that, man. You know, it's definitely one of those things to where it's like we all praying for change and for better days. I feel like um we're heading in somewhat in the right direction. Um, with a lot of things being revealed now. A lot, I think that going through these experiences, I think that a lot of people that were asleep, I think they waking up now and really paying attention. I think that some of the things that we got out of from the Donald Trump situation was
Yeah,
it woke a lot of people up, and we were
yeah,
able to see a lot of the mask come off, and we can kind of see who been
It's
wearing the
crazy.
mask.
It's crazy because I tell people a lot, like, you know, what he did, he allowed people to sort of, come out and be themselves. They always was feeling like this.
Mm-hmm.
They always was feeling like this.
Right.
So to me, it ain't just started happening. It been happening. It just now
Absolutely.
he allowed them to be okay with expressing themselves even more.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had any doubt it was always like that.
Right.
I
Right.
never had any doubt it was always like that. But he allowed it to be almost in fashion, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. 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 We was
It
able
was,
to.
it was
We
yeah,
was able to see some stuff like, like, dang,
yeah.
okay, I kind of figured that, but I really know not. I knew
Right,
you was
right,
like
right,
that,
right,
but
right,
I
right, right,
really see
right.
you
So
like that.
yeah, that's all it was, and we've been saying it for a long time. It's just they until they saw that video and saw it live and in person, because I always get from maybe my white counterpart, they may say, "Hey, why you feel the way you feel?" Well,
Mm-hmm.
we've been trying to tell y'all why we feel the way I feel, or why we feel the way we feel. We've been talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and now that video, you know, it opened their eyes where they don't have to ask us that question no more. Y'all know why, what I mean? We've been telling y'all this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We've been telling y'all this. We've been screaming, and the cops been getting off for a long, long time. Doing stuff just like that.
Right,
You know.
right. Can we talk about some of the things that you've learned throughout this music, your music career? Can we talk about some of the things that you've learned that you're doing different now? I know you said that, you learned a lot about, the business side of it, making sure that you got your paperwork done right, your publishing, all of these different things like that. But can you share with us some of the experiences that, once you actually started doing it, you like, dang, man, like, I didn't know it was like this. You know what I mean? Or something that may have just been like, wow, like, okay, I went through that experience or whatever. I ain't going through that again. I ain't going that way this time.
I mean, just from a business standpoint, like, I'm not as lackadaisical as I may have been, a couple of years ago. When
Mm-hmm.
I probably, when you love doing something as passionate as I do, sometimes the fine print, you may look over that because you love something so much.
Mm.
You love something so much, so you just think like, hey, it's gonna be all right,
Right.
until you realize it's a business. It's a business, and even though I said earlier I would do it for free if I could, you know what I mean? If you told me I could make music and do it for free, that's how much I love it. But you realize, you know, everything is a business, and so things that I did, you know, just as far as like not being out in front of, I'm more in control now than I was back then. I would say
Absolutely.
like, I'm more hands on than I was back then. Instead
Mm.
of letting somebody, you know, do it for me, I may do it myself now. You
Right.
know.
Right. You're right, man. It's nothing like, you know, that hands-on experience, because I think that, it helps you understand the process more,
Yeah.
as opposed to,
Mhm.
allowing others to do things for you. And then you're in the blind on things, not understanding the fine print, not understanding or not actually reading the contracts and allowing other people to read them for you. I mean, we see these stories with all of these artists that we all admire for years. We see these stories all somewhat are the same, and we're
Right.
talking about millions and plaques, multi plaques later, not
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
walking away from, traveling the world, entertaining us to walking away with nothing.
Right. 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 And like I said, even from a creative standpoint, like just being involved, like, even from making, my brand and, how I look, how I'm being presented, like I'm like I have more of a say so in that than I would have, like, a couple of years ago. Like like just sitting back and just knowing all of that, is valuable. You let anybody just slap your face to this or slap your face to that without really knowing what's going on, and that's how you could get caught up. You gotta just pay more. You just being involved yourself, like being more in control, knowing more.
Mm,
Wanting to know how to do this, wanting to know how this goes. It just to me, I think just being more involved than I was. I think back then I was more passive because I
mhm.
didn't know as much.
Right,
You
right.
know, but
If
I'm
you
more
can,
involved in everything, like from the making of music to putting together a project, pictures, everything.
right. If you can, if you had an opportunity to share anything with any inspiring artist that's thinking about getting into this music business, or maybe in it, and still kind of trying to find their way a little bit, if you could share something that you feel like is the most valuable information that you could share with them that would help them in a way, what would you tell them?
Oh man, I definitely would tell them to harness in on their craft first. Because without the craft, then you can't. You gotta. There's no reason to even start. So really study your craft and really always look to get better. So that's the first thing. And then aligning yourself. If you're gonna align yourself because that's what I did. I worked with somebody that believed in me.
Mm,
A lot of people really didn't believe in me. So it was like having somebody in your corner that believe in you goes a long way. It really does. Especially on the creative side. Like I told you, I worked with Mr. Shah. He believed in me as an artist, and so I've been aligned ever since. And you know, I would say, like, work on your craft and align yourself with people that believe in you and you could trust.
absolutely. Let's get some shout outs, man, to anybody that you want to give some shout outs to. Let's go ahead on and give them their flowers while they here. Family, friends, your staff, crew, anybody that you want to shout out right now, man. Let's go on and give them their roses.
Yeah, 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 no doubt. I definitely want to thank the good God, what I mean, for giving me this talent and putting me in this position. My mom's, my family. My mom's for introducing me to music, having me go to the choir, starting the choir. Um, my boy, Mr. Shy, he, like I told you, he believed in me from day one. He took his time in molding me. you know he's an artist himself, so I was always truly inspired. One of besides the three idols I named, this brother was somebody I really looked up to because his music was so good. I wanted to sort of do what he was doing, and so he inspired me. um you know King of Glory Temple Church. I was singing there, like I told you. They really got me started. Even when I ain't know what I was doing as a singer,
Right.
I was just singing. But they that's where I first started opening my mouth. So I want to give them a shout out. Um, you know, Certain people, Go Getter, Go Getter Productions. She's put me. She set up this interview today, and
Shout out to
I'm
Go Getter
thank her.
Productions for
Yes,
making
yes,
this connection happen, man. Word.
yes. She is a hard working woman, and she's an entrepreneur herself, and so I want to thank her. And people I've grown up with, friends that have been there for me. My boy Ty Nitty, Uncle Word, Smooth, the whole Marcy Tompkins, my boy Quack. I could go on and on. So I can't name everybody, but everybody that's been in my corner, the people that have supported me, my fans out there. Whether it's 1,000, 1,000,000, don't matter. If you out there supporting me, I appreciate it. And that's pretty. The whole Brooklyn. whole Brooklyn borough. I love them. And anybody, I want to say this too. Like I'm the prime example of, stick with it. Stick to your dreams. Don't give up. God blesses everybody with a gift. And I've gone through a lot of different type of turmoil in my life. Certain things that kind of derailed me on this path,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm the perfect example of you can come back and do whatever it is you set your mind to. When you've been blessed with something, it don't just go away like that.
Absolutely.
So, I've been through a whole lot, and for me to be, and I've had a lot of people that have been in my corner, inspiring me. My mom's, like I told you, always wanted me to come back and do music, and I'm thankful for that. And like I said, my Voice of the Streets album is a reflection of that. It's just a reflection of that. Each song is a reflection of who I am, who I've been around,
Mm-hmm.
and people that you know that goes through some of the things everyday life presents. I represent that.
Absolutely. Right now, y'all, you guys can go and get that Voice of the Streets
Yeah,
project, which is
yeah,
out
yeah,
streaming right now on all platforms.
yeah.
You can also log on to
It's on all platforms. It's on all platforms. Wherever you get the music
www.deshaunwilson.com.
from. Yeah, wherever you get your music from, it's on all platforms. I got my own website, DeshaunWilson.com. You could check it out. It got everything on there. It got all my music, all my content. I got my own merch on there. You know, like I said, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Absolutely, definitely coming. And I definitely suggest everybody make sure that you get connected. Log on right now. We have it up on the screen. Y'all get connected. Log on at www.deshaunwilson.com. He has everything on there. You can he has his bio, he got the music, he got merch. Definitely go and visit today and check out that project. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed at all. It's definitely bringing you inside of his world, and definitely got some inspirational things that's going to definitely touch home on there right now. Y'all make sure y'all go and check that out. Listen, man, I ain't gonna lie. I really, really enjoyed this interview. You definitely dropped a lot of gems, a lot of things, man. And I definitely have a big appreciation for the passion and time that you've put into your craft. We're definitely looking forward to having you back on the show again. And
I
before we
appreciate that,
before
my
we
brother.
we get out of here, make sure that can you put your social platforms out there again? I know we got it all on the screen and different things popping up, but can you put your social platforms out there and anything else that you want to plug in right now that you want us to know that's maybe coming in the future? Let's go ahead on and plug that in too.
Yes. Like I said, I'm on Instagram. Deshaun Satisfaction Wilson. Um, my music is on all platforms. Wherever you get your music, my Voice of the Streets album is on there. I got my own Voice of the Streets merch on there. I got if you want to support my project or you want to just support me, you could go to my website again at DeshaunWilson.com and you could purchase anything. And I got a single coming off my Voice of the Streets album, and the video is coming soon by Go Getter Productions. And I'm gonna continue bringing content off that album that people can relate to. And it's a whole lot. This album, like I told you, is full of singles that I know. Matter of fact, a lot of people won't be able to connect to. So this album is gonna we're gonna ride this album for a
Oh
while.
yeah, yeah. You definitely did your thing on them. I'm not gonna lie. I was like I said, I've been jamming. I've been vibing out. But
Okay.
before we get out of here, too, Sean, man, what is your favorite? I know you said that higher a joint that you recorded was one of your. Is that your all time favorite? What is your favorite off of the project?
Also, off of the project, I got this song. Well, I actually got two. So the Just Us record
Mm-hmm.
is a record that's one of my favorites because of what what I was talking about on there, and everything that that we've gone through, as people, black people.
Right.
And the Breonna Taylor story really meant a lot to me, and so I was that was one of my favorite songs. And I have another song called "I'm Good." It's a record about basically being in a relationship, and that relationship coming unglued. And I know every man could relate to that. Your
This
lady that
drum
you
was
was in
dope.
love with, she move on, and she think you gonna fall apart, but
Right.
she see you back, and I'm letting her know, yo, don't worry, sweetheart, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I'm
Right,
good.
right, right.
Yeah. So, those are my two favorite records because I felt that before, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that felt that. So you
Absolutely.
want to let that other person know, like, yo, hey, I'm all right. You left me, but I'm good. I'm good, and I'm still, my swag is still good. Don't worry.
Right, right, man. Deshaun, man, really, really, again, appreciate this amazing interview, man. And for me, the Vibe Team, eSource, Plug Star, GS Music, man, we want to thank you and wish you more blessings and more success. We can't wait to get you back on here again, my brother.
Yo, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to coming back on.
Absolutely. It's the Vibe Show with my special guest, the one and only R&B soul singing sensation, Deshaun Wlison. Shout out to everybody who was on the live showing my special guests so much love. Man, y'all are the real champions. Shout out to Go Getter Productions. Shout out to Sunshine. Shout out to Music Source Radio. Shout out to Ben Latifa, Jacqueline Yvette Public Relations. Shout out to Vibe Show Casper. Shout out to Jacoby and everybody else that showed my special guest so much love. Man, we really, really appreciate y'all. Y'all could be doing anything else, but y'all vibed out with me and Deshaun. So for that, we're very grateful. It's Friday. Y'all make sure that y'all take care of yourself. Y'all have a super blessed weekend. Be safe. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. It's the Vibe Show. I love y'all. I'm out.